everyone, welcome to Ajay and Nathan Discuss Movies, a show in which we discuss movies both old and new. Today we have a new episode today. We've taken a week and a half off, well-needed break, but we're here today to discuss a new movie that is out on streaming right now on HBO Max, and that movie is none other than...
Caddo Lake.
Directed by...
two people whose names I forget.
Yeah, I forgot as well. But Nathan, before we get into our thoughts, what is this movie about?
Yeah, Caddo Lake is the story. There are two protagonists, a man named Paris and a girl named Ellie. Both are trying to uncover mysteries. Ellie's sister goes missing out on Caddo Lake, and she's trying to look for her. Meanwhile, this man named Paris is trying to uncover this mystery about his mother's mysterious death, and the stories converge with some twists thrown in that we can't spoil just yet, but it is very twisty, as the movie was produced by our idol, our god, M Night Shyamalan.
Did he buy your tickets for Shyamaween?
No, I didn't, because they were $1,500, and that is just for the general admission.
Yeah. I think it's cheaper than that, but we'll keep it at $1,500.
Was it cheaper than that?
To justify us not going. Anyways, we're excited for Shyamaween. I might go.
You might still go?
It depends. It's on my birthday, so...
It's on your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Happy... Damn, tickets to Shyamaween.
It's either that or the murder mystery tour that you're on. I don't know where to go. What a choice there.
Oh, what a choice. Shyamaween.
So overall, getting back into the film, how did you feel about it?
I was bored for most of the movie. I did not find it to be a very engaging watch. A full hour of its runtime is dedicated to a lot of just family drama. That's what the movie essentially is a family drama with some, I guess, kind of with some twists that kind of change up the structure. I don't want to get too much into it, but the first hour is very much in that realm of like family mystery. Where'd this girl go? How did this guy's mom die? And then it gets a little shaken up about around the midway point, but by that time it was, for me, a little too late to get invested, because I was just kind of waiting for anything to happen. And so I was kind of lukewarm on the whole thing.
Yeah, I understand that sentiment. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I will say the first two acts were a little bit of a slog.
Yeah.
I wasn't that big of a fan of it, especially when you learn about the family dynamics and all that. It felt like it tried to pick up by the third act, and by the third act, it started to become a better movie.
Yeah.
I thought Dylan O'Brien did really good. Eliza Scanlan did really well. They're doing really well with what little they're given.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a film that, even though won't be on anyone's top 10 list, it's not on my top movies list, but I do think it's an underrated movie that you should definitely check out if you have the time to stream this movie. I think this is a perfect movie for streaming.
Yeah, no, it is weird that it came straight to streaming, because I feel like for a while streaming services haven't really been like putting out movies specifically for streaming. If they do, it's like there's like no one knows about them. I think just this month, like, Max put out another movie, Salem's Lot, which was, I mean, I watched both Salem's Lot and Caddo Lake, and it's like, Salem's Lot is very much something that gets dumped onto streaming because it's not going to make any money if you put it into a theater. But Caddo Lake, I don't know, as much as I was lukewarm on it, it felt like a movie that could have been put out in the theaters. It's a very small movie, more focused on like family drama, but I don't know, just felt like it could have, like, people would have seen this in the theater.
I feel like the way that it was shot definitely gives me that assumption that it would be on streaming, because it wasn't really shot that well. And I don't, that's not a diss on the people that made it. It's just like the way that, I mean, obviously it was shot digitally, but it feels dated in a way.
Okay.
Like the look of it feels quite dated, and I get it. You know, they're time traveling. They're going through 2005,
oh my God,
1970 something, and
you gave away the twist.
Did I? Is that a twist? It's a time traveling movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like that's the only thing the movie really had going for it, and it doesn't really get expanded upon until about midway through, where you realize, oh my god, they're time traveling.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a time travel movie.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a time traveling movie. It's we spoiled it for you, and we're sorry. But if you're watching this, I think it's safe to say you also watched the movie as well.
Yeah.
If you're in the deep cabals of YouTube watching this video, it's safe to say that you also watched the movie.
You clicked on this because you watched Caddo Lake, and you're like, I'd like to hear some loser's opinion on this. Well, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I'll be your loser today.
I will say that the general opinion that I get from watching this film and what I've watched from other reviewers, because this is a film that I was like, okay, what are other people saying? Is that I always hear the line that, oh, this is a Shyamalan produced film that feels like it was directed by M Night Shyamalan. I'm
Not
like,
at all.
no, it doesn't. The thing with M Night Shyamalan,
Not at all, no.
the thing with M Night Shyamalan that I really love is that even though he chases non-conventional stories, he's still able to make a film that appeals to the general audience.
Yeah.
This, I don't feel, can appeal to a general audience.
No, it will. No, there's not enough there to appeal to a general audience. The time travel inclusion it does lead to some cool little moments in the film, like when we're cutting between, because there are two timelines going on. Essentially, we're basically in spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
We're going to talk about the whole thing.
You know, if go watch the movie, come back, watch this review.
Yeah, but essentially, it's like Dylan O'Brien is in like the past, and this girl Ellie is in the future, which would be like our modern day, and the movie's constantly cutting back between them as they kind of explore this weird time anomaly out on Caddo Lake, because over time, as the water levels of this lake have kind of dropped, it has led to this strange little phenomenon where if you enter part of the lake, you will travel back in time. And initially, it is interesting and adds a nice little jolt into the movie, because we're constantly cutting back and forth between the two, traveling to different times, and we're watching as those stories intersect. It becomes very paradoxical, but for me personally, I feel like there comes a point in a time travel movie, or like with time travel in general, where it's just like, this feels like overly convoluted. And like the more you think about it, you're like, does this make sense? Or is this too convoluted? Is this just a gimmick? Is it adding anything to the story?
And wouldn't the past or the future be? I mean, this is something that you see in Back to the Future, where where if you go back into the past and change things, it will change the way things are altered in the future. But it doesn't really show that in this movie.
Yeah, it's a weird time travel. It reminded me a lot of kind of it's not a movie, but a show that I think does this.
Dark?
Yeah, you knew I was going to say Dark on Netflix. I think Dark has the benefit of it's a television series with multiple episodes and seasons, and so they're allowed to get really insane and in-depth with all the time travel shenanigans. I think like if you look up like the timeline or like the family tree for that show, it's just a giant mass of nightmares essentially, which like is confusing, but it is fun. And in Caddo Lake, it's so small, it's so light, but at the same time that leads to, I think, more cracks.
Yeah, and there are cracks within this movie, and it's a movie that you can easily nitpick.
Yeah.
And be like, oh my god. Well, one issue that I did have with the film is that it's never really explained as to the daughter. Where she's
the girl who goes missing?
The girl who goes missing, yes.
Yeah.
The daughter of the redheaded chick. I don't know the name of her, by the way. In the film. The character name. We'll add in the little character IMDb credit. But the thing with her is that it was revealed later on in the film that she is actually the grandma of Eliza Scanlan's character. Right? Right.
Is she the grandmother, or is she just like her? That's her actual mother, right? It's the little girl who goes missing that is the grandmother.
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's revealed that that in her 8th grade yearbook picture.
Yeah.
Or not 8th grade, but like when she was 8,
Uh-huh.
it was actually in 1952.
Yeah.
And she was born in 1944.
Yes.
If my math works out correctly.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
She did little math where she added 8 plus 1944
Yeah.
to make it 1952.
This is why I hate time travel.
Yeah.
It's math.
So I was watching that. I'm like, how is it possible for the grandma to come back as the daughter? Or to come back as the sister who ends up going missing?
Yeah. I don't know because I hate time travel. It's like, and again, initially, it is kind of interesting because, I mean, like, she goes missing because she falls through a time portal into, I think it's the 50s, and that's where Dylan O'Brien finds a little girl, brings her to, like, this, like, cow truck, and he's like, yeah, take this girl, she's hurt. And then, like, you learn that she has, like, this full life, like in the 50s, growing up, and ends up becoming the mother of Dylan O'Brien, I believe.
Yeah.
Is how the family tree works. And so it becomes a big old paradox. There is an entire scene where the girl Ellie, like, is in like the library doing research, which I just miss in movies, is library.
Yeah, she did a few Google searches.
Research scenes. I love using Google in movies. It's always fun to see.
Spandex.
Reminds me
Spandex.
of Twilight.
Everything. Spandex. That's the line from The Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
I think that was on Bing instead, not Google.
Oh, yeah, Bing.
Yeah.
Spandex. Everything. Spandex.
Yeah, I just, for the first hour, because there is like the mystery of like, ooh, this girl has gone missing, but for a lot of it, it's very light on like the more sci-fi element, the time travel of it all. And so a lot of it, I was watching these people just like kind of like yell and be sad. I'm just like, I feel like I'm watching a Lifetime movie right now. And it's like, that sounds very bad. And like, the performances are really, really good. Every actor is giving 100%. They are very dedicated to this material and this story. But I think just for me personally, it was not clicking. I was not emotionally invested in like this family's turmoil, which the entire movie is about, this like a highly dysfunctional family and family tree because bunch of time travel.
Yeah, I understand that point of view where it's like you want to feel for the characters and they're doing really well. The actors that are behind these characters are doing really well.
Yeah, no, Dylan O'Brien is really, I haven't seen him in much before, but in this movie he's
good. He's
really great.
It was hilarious.
A great performance.
It was hilarious when he was like out in the middle of the lake, and one of the officers was like, "Hey, can we see some ID?" He's like, "Yeah." Yeah, and then he just leaves. That was hilarious. That
was a fun little
he
boat
like
chase.
And he gets wiped out. By
Oh
a rock.
yeah, I do love that. That was
Like goes surfs
kind of
up
cool.
or something.
Surfs up, bro.
My name's Cody Maverick, Shiverpool. You?
No, I'm not from Shiverpool.
Where are you from?
Dude, I'm from Lake Michigan. That's where I surf. I was the only one around my town who did it, and a lot of people thought it was crazy, but I'm used to that.
I know how you feel, Joe.
You do?
Yeah.
Radical.
I don't know. For some reason, he reminded me a lot of like John Bernthal in this movie. Maybe it was like the buzz cut or the way he like whispered everything. He's like, I don't know what you want to hear. I don't know. Let me ask you.
Why you take
something.
naps? That's I think that was a line from John Bernthal in an interview. He's like, I don't take naps. I don't take naps.
It sounds like it was. That sounds like it could have been a line from his role in Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, send your sister over here.
You know what I'm saying? Dude, this takes naps. I don't trust people that take naps, dude. I just found that out. He doesn't take naps, dude. He's grown up man. No, you don't. Dude, yeah. It's like, dude, like the whole world's moving while you're napping, bro. It's terrible.
I mean, overall, it's a flawed movie,
Yeah.
but there's a diamond in the rough within this movie.
Yeah. If
You can see that there was an attempt to make a really good film,
Mhm.
and if the writing was a little bit better, if it was a little bit more coherent, I think that certainly would be the case. However, it just isn't there for, I'd say, 2/3 of the movie, where it's a decent movie for the first 2 acts, but it just wasn't that eventful. It just wasn't that suspenseful.
Eventful is the key term, I feel, because as I'm watching it, and again, even when the time travel is introduced, it's like, what are we really, like, what is happening? I mean, we're learning kind of like this weird timey-wimey family tree, but it's like, I feel like I'm not gaining much from it. I just know that someone went back in time, became someone's mom and someone's grandma when they were their adopted sister, and then Dylan O'Brien, spoilers, he drowns and dies.
Yeah.
And we realize, oh, that was her dad the whole time. And so I gave it all away.
Yeah, I mean,
But like with a movie like this, it's hard not to talk about this stuff because it's so like integral to the plots.
if it started in the 3rd act, I think it would have been a way better film, because it would be a little bit more action packed. A lot more things would be happening, and I think that would be good.
Yeah, no, I feel it doesn't need to be like action packed, but I feel like it needs a more gradual like escalation, like in what we learn, what we experience, because I feel like big chunk of this movie is kind of just people out on boats on this lake, just kind of looking worried. I'm pretty sure there was a good just like 15 minutes of the movie where it's just, we cut to Dylan O'Brien as Paris. He's on the boat looking worried. Cut back to Ellie. She's looking worried. Cut back to him. He's on that boat looking worried. And it just kept going back and forth. I'm like, is anyone going to do anything out on this dumb time travel lake? God damn.
Yeah.
Something happened.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, if this, it's weird. Are people really saying this could be a movie directed by M Night Shyamalan?
That's what I hear.
I understand like the premise of the movie being an M Night Shyamalan idea, but like, this feels like, as much as I'm lukewarm on it, it feels like a real movie. But like, if M Night Shyamalan directed this, it would be insane.
Yeah.
Like we'd get like a full like explanation from like some wise old sage about the lake. Like, the magic of the lake was left here by the fairy king who cursed the lake and cursed humanity. My grandmother went out onto that lake and traveled back in time. She was my mom. Or my sister, she was someone, but the magic of the lake and the lady in the water.
Paul Giamatti just comes out of nowhere.
There'd be some like they'd meet up with like weird side characters who are like,
M. Night Shyamalan comes out as the writer whose works will save the world. You know?
M. Night, instead of Dylan O'Brien saving like the little girl who's his mom in the future, it's M. Night Shyamalan just like, I found this girl out on the lake, but she's wearing these strange clothes I've never seen before.
She's a halfling, you know.
Perhaps there is something out on Caddo Lake that we do not understand. I'm going to leave now. And then he walks out into the
There's
lake.
a movie critic that appears in the movie, and he's just there to like scorn, and then one of the halflings or whatever.
Are we talking about Lady in the Water now?
One of the Narf or Scrunts comes out.
Sir.
This is where I turn to run. You will leap for me. I will shut the door. And you will land a fraction of a second too late.
Serving 100% scrunt.
Yes. Having said all that, it would be hilarious to see Shyamalan direct this film.
Yeah.
Because there was a interview that I showed you like a few months ago that he did on the Real Blend podcast, which is a pretty good podcast, where M. Night Shyamalan gave like his original ending for The Village.
For The Village, yeah.
Where it was
no,
just
you
him
told me
listening
this.
to Jay-Z's 99 Problems as he just hits Bryce Dallas Howard
with the car.
You know, that ending changed a bit. You know, I had shot a different ending for The Village. It's funny, I thought for a long time about putting it on the Blu-rays and
I was just about to. I was like, I don't remember.
No,
there
and I
being on the-
intentionally didn't because it was so different and would make you would change your memory of the movie so much because it was so alternate. To basically like she came out and everyone found out about it, and it kind of basically blows up essentially. I was thinking about putting 99 Problems, like this is before it came out, the Black Album. She comes and literally like a car almost hits her, but the guy driving it, which was me by the way,
Yes.
and it was listening to Jay-Z's 99 Problems. That was the ending of the movie. Like I almost hit her, and like you're hearing him, I got 99 problems, but and they want. So you basically the value system just goes flip at the end.
But a ain't one.
Yeah.
Runs her over. Yeah, we should do an entire series. Take a movie and just be like, what if Shyamalan did this?
Oh, dude.
And see if it gets better or worse.
So Shyamalan, we love Shyamalan.
We do love Shyamalan,
and we wish he directed this film instead.
I mean, I appreciate that. You know, he has had a busy year. You know, producing a movie for one kid, making an entire movie for another kid. I was looking for a Shyamalan credit outside of his own producer on this movie. Like, was his other daughter like craft services on this, or like a boom mic operator?
Was she the soundtrack for the movie?
Is she the soundtrack for the movie? Like, but like, I appreciate that, you know, he came out and produced this smaller, more personal film just because, you know, he can and he wants people to see it.
Good.
And I really do love that. And if you do like, you know, a low key, very light on the like more sci-fi supernatural elements, if you're down with like a 2-hour like family drama, then
it's an hour and a half, like an hour and 40.
Yeah, maybe it felt longer for me. But if you're down with something more personal, like a family drama kind of film, then I think this will work out for you, because it's not a bad movie. No. I don't think. I think just for me personally, I was not very engaged in the story, and by the time that the more supernatural elements kind of showed up, it was a little too late, and I feel like they didn't really add enough for me to feel like truly satisfied.
Yeah, it felt that there was still a lot of things that were unresolved by the end of the film.
Yeah, I was reading some reviews as well, and I saw someone describe this as like a season, like a full season of like a television show, kind of condensed. And it feels like that. It feels like with a little bit more time to like kind of go through this film and the dynamics and like the time travel aspects, I feel with a bit more time there could have been a bit more meat on this particular bone.
Yeah, I feel very similar to that, where I wanted a little bit more for the first two acts, but again, when that third act kicks in, where like she time travels back to 2005, the thing with the film is that like she time travels back to 2005, but it looks present day.
Yeah, there's
even like the soda cans. Like I know it's a small detail, but the Dr. Pepper can should be looking like it's 2005 Dr. Pepper. Why does it look like present day Dr. Pepper cans?
Yeah.
Why does the store look like it's present day? 2022.
I mean, you can argue that like not much has changed in like 20 years, and like also I don't know, maybe the setting of the movie doesn't, because it's in like this little like lake town in the south, and so like I don't know, that place in 2005 is still gonna look identical to what it is like 20 years later, I guess. You could have helped us out by throwing a Tesla truck in the back and like while we're in like 2022, just so we know where we are, just like a Tesla, and then 2005, just like there's no Tesla. We're safe here.
In 2005, you just see like kids with their, cards of Yu-Gi-Oh, just like
Yu-Gi-Oh
playing
card.
outside, just their Exodia, blue eyes white dragon. Just add small details like that so that we'd understand it,
Yeah, no, there's not really much cohesion in that aspect outside of like you see like younger versions of older characters kind of show up. Yeah, and that's, you're like, oh yeah, we're in the past now.
Yeah. If they just added a few details of that nature, I think this film would be a little bit more I wouldn't say understandable, but a little bit more comprehensible.
Yeah, very much clearer.
Yes.
I think you could have said it in like the 90s or the 80s.
Yeah, if it's in the 70s, have someone wear a Star Wars tee, just or have someone wear, a tee of Richard Nixon,
Sure, yeah, have like big old like framed photos of Richard Nixon so we know exactly where we're. Pull a long legs, a giant framed photo of Bill Clinton just so we know this is the 90s.
Yeah, what person screams the 90s more than Richard Nixon? Or sorry, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, no. Bill Clinton was the 90s personified.
Yeah. So overall, I enjoyed the film for a third of it. The first 2/3 could have been a little bit better. Having said all that, stick around for the performances.
Yeah.
Not so much for the incomprehensible. I wouldn't say incomprehensible. That's the wrong way of saying it. But unresolved writing and lack of... I wouldn't say understanding, but just a lack of an appreciation for the film.
Yeah. It's kind of... I'm middle ground, lukewarm on the whole thing. There's good elements to it, but I overall was not very enamored by the whole thing.
Yeah. And overall, that's a review for this film.
That's Caddo Lake.
So, other than that, watch our other reviews. We've been doing pretty well with the reviews.
Yeah.
Posting Joker and Megalopolis and all that. We have thoughts on that movie, so definitely go watch that review. But anyways, guys, that is our time. Stick around for our next review. Peace, bye.
I would say don't wait too long. Don't wait for others to come and give you millions of dollars because it probably won't happen. You have to prove yourself. You have to you have to. I don't want to use the word calling card, but you do have to. You have to put yourself out there. You have to put your art out there and prove to people that you got the goods.